Imagine being a billionaire, having everything money can buy, but still feeling something is missing. Now, picture this. You walk into your daughter's room and see something that changes everything. A cleaner, someone you barely notice, dancing with your disabled daughter, bringing her pure, unfiltered joy. What happens next will shock you. This is the untold story of kindness, transformation, and a billion-dollar lesson. Stick around to find out how one simple act of love changed a family forever. The mansion, a grand structure of marble floors and intricate chandeliers, had always been a place of luxury and power. The hum of the bustling city far below felt like a distant echo, a reminder of the empire Mr. William Harrington had built over the years. Inside, however, there was an eerie stillness. Despite all the wealth that surrounded him, there was a void, a lack of connection that even his sprawling estate couldn't fill. The lavish halls and pristine rooms were empty of warmth and joy. William, a man defined by his empire and business success, had never truly known what it felt like to be connected with others on a deep, emotional level. His life had been a collection of meetings, deals, and acquisitions, but with little regard for personal relationships. His daughter, Sarah, born with a debilitating disability, had always been at the center of his world. He poured countless resources into ensuring she had the best medical care, the finest therapists, and the latest technology. But no matter how much he spent or how many doctors he consulted, there remained an undeniable truth. His daughter was isolated, confined to her room, separated from the world. It was one afternoon when he passed by the hallway that he heard something different. A sound that stood in stark contrast to the usual silence of the mansion, a soft, playful melody. The music wasn't from the expensive sound system that echoed throughout the halls, but rather a light, cheerful tune that seemed to come from within his daughter's room. His curiosity piqued, William couldn't help but pause. There was something about the sound that tugged at his heartstrings. Quietly, without making a sound, he approached her door. What he saw next would change everything. As he peeked inside, he froze in place, unable to believe what he was witnessing. Inside the room, the scene before William's eyes was nothing short of magical. His daughter, Sarah, who often spent her days in solitude, her vibrant personality dulled by the limitations of her disability, was now glowing. She sat in her wheelchair, her face illuminated with the kind of smile that seemed foreign to him. It was the smile of someone truly happy, and for a moment, it felt like the entire world had stopped for him to take in this fleeting moment of joy. What struck him most, however, was not just Sarah's happiness, but the woman holding her hands and guiding her through the slow, graceful dance. It was Lena, the cleaner, a woman William had only ever seen around the house doing her chores, someone he had never truly spoken to or paid much attention to. And yet, here she was, moving with such elegance, leading Sarah in a dance that radiated warmth and care. Lena hummed a gentle tune, her movements synchronized with the music, creating an atmosphere of serenity and love. Her eyes were focused entirely on Sarah, and she had no idea that William was watching. The sight was profound. Lena, someone who was a part of the household but was far removed from the wealth and privilege that William enjoyed, was offering Sarah something money could never buy: genuine connection, affection, and pure joy. She wasn't there because of a job requirement, but because she saw Sarah as a person, not just a child with a disability. She was providing a moment of human warmth, something William had not thought his daughter would experience so freely. For the first time in years, William was forced to confront something deeply uncomfortable. His wealth and resources could never replace the power of a simple act of kindness. Lena's presence in Sarah's life was a stark reminder of how much had been missing from their world. William remained frozen in place, hidden in the shadows, as he watched the intimate scene unfold before him. He felt an overwhelming sense of guilt surge within him. The weight of his neglect hit him like a tidal wave. He had spent his life accumulating wealth, climbing the ranks of business, and amassing an empire that many would envy, yet all of it had come at the cost of what truly mattered: the happiness of his daughter. He had been so absorbed in his achievements, so consumed by the pursuit of success, that he had failed to recognize what Sarah truly needed: genuine connection, human warmth, and the kind of affection that no amount of money could buy. In his mind, he began to recall the countless times he had sent Sarah away to the best doctors and hospitals. He had surrounded her with the most expensive medical treatments, hoping that somehow these would improve her condition and make her life more comfortable. He had hired the finest specialists, thinking that they could solve the problems that plagued her. He had done all of this, believing that these material solutions would bring her the happiness she deserved. But as he stood there, watching Lena hold his daughter's hands and gently guide her through the dance, he realized something he had been blind to for so long. Despite all the resources at his disposal, he had overlooked the simplest and most profound form of care: human connection. Lena, with no wealth or formal education, had given Sarah something far more valuable than any treatment or medication: a sense of joy, companionship, and belonging. In that moment, William understood that Sarah didn't need the riches of the world. What she needed, what she had always needed, was love, understanding, and the freedom to simply experience the world without feeling isolated or alone. He had spent so much time focusing on fixing her, on making her life easier with material solutions, but what she truly longed for was the connection that Lena. The next morning, William felt a strange mix of emotions as he prepared to speak to Lena. His mind was still reeling from the previous day's revelation. He had to confront the overwhelming truth about his own shortcomings as a father and how someone like Lena, a woman he had always seen as part of the background, had provided his daughter with something he had failed to give. Now he had to make things right, to acknowledge the importance of what Lena had done. When Lena was summoned to his study, she walked in hesitantly, her body language betraying her uncertainty. She was used to being in the background, doing her job quietly and efficiently, but never once had she imagined that she would be called into the private office of a man like William Harrington. She stood there, awkwardly shifting her weight from one foot to the other, unsure of what to expect. The room was cold and imposing, filled with expensive furniture and objects that radiated power and wealth. William sat behind his grand desk, his posture rigid, but his expression was softer than Lena had ever seen. "Lena," he began, his voice carrying an unexpected warmth, "I saw you yesterday. What you did for my daughter, it was something I can never thank you enough for." Lena, taken aback, stammered slightly, "I didn't mean to overstep, sir. I didn't mean to overstep, sir. I just thought she'd enjoy a little fun. She seems so happy." William leaned forward, his gaze sincere. "You did more than just give her fun, Lena. You gave her something that I've struggled to provide. You gave her joy. I've been so caught up in everything else, work, success, my empire, that I forgot the most important thing." He paused, his eyes softening. "You reminded me what truly matters." Lena's eyes widened in shock. She had never imagined that a simple act of kindness could have such an impact, especially not on someone like him. Had so effortlessly provided. From that moment forward, a subtle but profound transformation swept through the Harrington household. William, once consumed by the demands of his empire, began to see his daughter in a completely new light. He wasn't just her provider or her distant father. He became present in her life, truly engaging with her, not out of duty, but out of love. He no longer viewed her disability as something to fix or something that defined her. Instead, he saw it as part of who she was, an essential part of her story. His love for Sarah deepened, and every moment with her became a cherished experience. The change was not limited to William alone. Lena, the humble cleaner who had unknowingly opened his eyes to what mattered most, became an integral part of the family in ways that no one could have predicted. William, deeply moved by her kindness and the deep care she had shown for Sarah, offered her a much higher position within the household. It was a role that recognized her true value, not just as a cleaner but as someone essential to the happiness and well-being of the family. Her financial reward was significant, but what meant even more to Lena was the recognition of her humanity, her compassion, and the importance of her presence in their lives. Lena was given the freedom to design activities for Sarah, activities that allowed her to feel more connected to the outside world, to live in a way that was joyful and fulfilling. The walls that had once confined Sarah to her room began to crumble. She was no longer isolated. With her father and Lena by her side, Sarah's world expanded, and each day was filled with laughter, music, and moments of pure joy, just as it had been when Lena first danced with her. The lesson learned was simple yet powerful. True happiness and fulfillment don't come from wealth, status, or success. They come from kindness, empathy, and the ability to connect with others on a human level. In the end, it wasn't the billions of dollars that changed everything. It was the simple, beautiful act of a cleaner dancing with a disabled child, showing that sometimes the most profound moments of life come from the most unexpected places. As the days went by, the mansion that had once felt so cold and empty began to pulse with life. Sarah's laughter echoed through the halls, filling the space with warmth and a sense of connection that no amount of money could have ever bought. The Harrington family had learned the true meaning of love, and it had nothing to do with their wealth or status. It was about the simple, powerful bonds between them all. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to Black Visionaries for more powerful stories like this one. Stories that inspire, uplift, and change lives. Drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts. What's the most unexpected act of kindness you've experienced? Stay tuned because the best is yet to come.
Hit subscribe now and become part of the vision.